Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Music Tech Help Guy, and welcome to our November 2024 Week 4 pre-recorded stream. This is sort of our catch-up video, so it's not really a stream. It's a pre-recorded video. As you guys will recall, on Fridays at 6 p.m., I've been doing live streams, and this week, due to the Thanksgiving holiday, I decided to do a pre-recorded video instead. And I kind of think I might stick with this format, do 3 streams, then a pre-recorded video, so I can catch up on some of the submissions that I missed. So as you guys will remember, the stream last week jumped in like 15 minutes late, and it cut off like the first 3 songs. So we missed, I think we missed Freedom, we missed Industrial Zone, and then the stream jumped in here on Wish You Were Here. So that's where we're going to start this week. Now, just keep in mind, if you want to get in on this, all you have to do is check my community page on Wednesdays or Thursdays for a link to upload your track via Boombox. You just have to sign up for a free Boombox account over at boombox.io. Upload your track for review, and I will do my best to get to it. The earlier your track is uploaded, the better of a chance I'll be able to get to it that week, just because I get so many submissions and I can only go for about 2 hours before I need a break. Yeah, try to get your tracks in early if you can. And I appreciate all of the support you guys have, given this up to this point. I apologize if I missed any of your tracks. Just keep trying to submit them or keep submitting them, and I'll eventually get to them. One thing I do want to mention here is this intro I'm doing in post, because there was a bit of an issue. I know. There was a bit of an audio issue. The gate was like cutting out like all of my F's and C's and hard consonant sounds. I'm not really sure what the heck was going on there. So you're going to see for about the first hour of the stream, there's some consonants that are cut out, but you can still kind of, still understand the feedback that I'm giving, and I'm also leaving comments as well. So I apologize for that in advance. Let's get right into this. We're starting with Freedom, The Ballad of Ukraine by Enda Madden. And yeah, I left quite a few comments on here, but let's go ahead and go through these since this was the first one from last week that we missed. So one of the first things I noted here was that the piano is disappearing in mono. You see me reaching over here. I'm usually just checking mono compatibility, bringing in my sub, pulling out my sub, just checking it in different ways. A lot of the side material is disappearing in mono, and it's cutting into like the definition of the piano. So I would maybe look at whatever's on your master chain and see how much stereo width you're applying, and maybe dial that back a little bit. I love all the sound effects too. It reminds me of One from Metallica, although this is a completely different genre. Okay, I'm gonna start this from the beginning, and I won't interrupt this time.
Cry with me now. The lights turn to darkness. Cry with me now. The joys turn to pain. Tell me just how. The world stood by watching while skies have turned black over lands of Ukraine. A week ago, I was dreaming, enjoying life in the sun. I never thought that I'd be screaming, living life by the gun. No one thought this could be
So far, I really like the arrangement and I really like the instrumental mix. I think the instrumental mix is pretty much spot on. The vocal, though, it seems very oversaturated to me. It also sounds like you've got a little bit too much vocal tuning on it. For a song like this, I would dial back that vocal tuning by like 50% and then desaturate it a little bit. I'm hearing all the little mouth, clicks and pops because it's so oversaturated. If you're obviously using compression on the vocal, so I would maybe think about even dialing back the compression a little bit. It's a little too present and forward, and if you're gonna go for that sort of that vocal effect, sort of saturated vocal effect, you're gonna need to dial those vocals back in the mix a little bit. But also definitely dial back the vocal tuning a little bit. It doesn't need it.
Old friend turns to foe, but we were too blind to see the insecurities grow. Fight with me now. We'll fight for our freedom. We'll fight for our lives.
Yeah, I mean, there's a great melody in there. Don't let the vocal tuning make your voice sound like a synthesizer. Dial back that vocal tuning. Let some of the natural, ebb and flow and the natural vibrato of your voice come through and the natural character of your voice come through. For a song like this, you should have essentially completely transparent vocal tuning if possible.
To the very last man, the cost will be high. The blood of our nation, but we'll see the sunrise, a free people again. Maybe this was not a perfect heaven.
Yeah, so number one, I love 6/8 time. I'm a sucker for 6/8, 9/8, and 12/8. I love triple meters like that or compound meters like that. One thing I noted here, and I still hear it, is that whoa, that part. It's like it sounds identical to the chord progression and part of the melody from with a little help from my friends, not the Beatles version, because the Beatles version is in 3/4. The Joe Cocker version, which is in 6/8. I'd be careful. If you haven't released the song yet, I would maybe alter the melody there. I mean, you can't copyright a chord progression, but you can copyright a melody, and I would be really careful on the melody there to maybe do something a little bit different that doesn't sound like with a little help from my friends from Joe Cocker.
But now it's definitely hell. Does no one care about our children or all the heroes that fell? Stand tall and be proud. We'll ensure that they fail. We'll sing it out loud, and love will prevail.
Like right there, you can really, really hear the vocal tuning fighting with your natural vibrato. Just let your natural voice through here. I would I think I said dial back the vocal tuning by 50%. I'd dial it back by like 70 or 80%. Just enough to kind of get your notes where they need to go. And also, like, don't do the thing where it gets rid of the vibrato or the natural wiggle of the note. Don't do that. And if you do, only use a little bit of it, because you end up with artifacts like that are like just very obviously tuned.
Lie with me now. My life's almost over, but I'm seeing the sun as I slip away. Come fly with me now. I can finally taste freedom. Just close your eyes and you'll see it one day.
Yeah, like I said, very nice instrumental arrangement, like really good instrumental mix. Desaturate the vocals, little less vocal, quite a bit less vocal tuning, pull the vocal down in the mix a little bit, and then just be really careful about that Joe Cocker section I was talking about. Um, okay, let's move on to, we already listened to What a Ride the week before. So next up is Industrial Zone. And yeah, let's give this a listen. This is by Calogan. The transitions in this are really unique. It's like they're like turntable, like a DJ, like, mixing between two songs, so it's really it's very unique. I left a comment, it's kind of like big band meets chip tunes meets drum and bass. So yeah, very unique style and unique, very unique songwriting. It definitely doesn't sound like anything else out there, that's for sure. I think one of my comments here was, can you find a more realistic sax instrument? Because I really think, as I recall, I think this would sound better if you could find, like, either one, a real sax player to play the part, or two, find a really, like, deeply sampled sax instrument. The ones in Logic are okay, but probably some of the best solo wind instruments I've used are from UVI. They have a whole library of solo, band and orchestral music. So maybe you look those up and see if you can't use a real sax. Otherwise, if not, I would rather hear like a synthesizer than somewhere in between. You know what I mean? Like like saxophone's really hard to do well in a sampled format. So when it doesn't sound realistic to me, I would rather just not have it. It's kind of the same way I feel about like MIDI guitar parts. I'd rather just not hear MIDI guitar, but that's just my personal opinion. You know what? Maybe that is a real sax. I'm not sure. Not sure if that's a real sax or not. If it is, it sounds a little muffled. It sounds a little mid-rangey. It doesn't sound as bright as a sax normally would. So if that is a real sax, maybe pull up the top end a little bit just to bring out the natural character of sax. Like, one of the problems with recording sax and like clarinet and other woodwind instruments that have like keys is that the keys, the pads that seat on top of the holes for the instrument make noise. And so whenever like someone records sax close up, like you hear all of those little key noises, and often people will like cut the high end in order to try to get rid of some of that key noise. Personally, I like to hear it. You know what I mean? I like it. It brings a level of realism to the instrument that wouldn't otherwise be there. So if that's real sax, I would say maybe bring out the top end. If it's not real sax, maybe replace it with a different instrument. Um, and then I'd also say bring the bass up a little bit. The bass seems a little low, just the bass lines, like the beat is fine. Yeah, I'm assuming that it's still a work in progress since it just sort of ended, but yeah, I mean that's a very unique track. I mean, it's like chip tunes meets drum and bass with some like jazz fusion in there. So it's really cool track. I would just kind of sort out those sax issues, like I said, and maybe come up with a more definitive ending. But otherwise, really cool track. Very, very interesting, very unique. Okay, so we did Freedom, we did Industrial Zone, Wish You Were Here. This is where we jumped in on the last stream. I think I was about here. I think I was about 2/3 of the way through. So let's go ahead and give this another listen. So this is Wish You Were Here by JDL.
I miss that look upon your face, laughing, talking, smiling with grace. I close my eyes, all I see is you. Remember all the things that we used to do. I miss you, I wish you were here. I miss you, I wish you were here. I miss you, I wish you were here. I wish you were here. I know.
So it sounds like there's a good song in here. There's some good playing. There's a good vocal. There's a good vocal melody. It just, and was my critique last week, is the middle frequencies, like the body, like the meat of the song, sounds a little hollow. So I'm not saying on your master just boost the mid range, but in some of the instruments, especially the guitars, the kick drum, the bass guitar, maybe add a little more bass reinforcement. It sounds like maybe one too many things have been high passed a little too high. The kick doesn't really seem to have any sub to it. The bass guitar, I want more body, more reinforcement of the bass. The vocal sounds a little thin, and I would dial, and it sounds like it's hiding behind the reverb. I like the reverb and I love reverb. I love like super ambient music, but if the reverb is sort of masking the clarity of the vocal, that's generally too much, unless it's like some sort of like a very specific vocal effect. I would dial back your reverb 20% and then give the vocals a little bit more mid-range body. If you're filtering them out for male vocals, I usually don't go any higher than about 60 or 70 hertz. Maybe with female vocals, you can get up to like 80, 90, 100 hertz, but usually about 50, 60 is where I go on vocals. So I would say just in general, I'd like to hear some more like mid-range, bottom mid-range warmth and depth and just it needs to sound a little more fat. It sounds a little thin to my ear. Yeah, that little guitar thing in the background, it sounds like there's too much treble, like mid-high treble in the guitars, and there's too much gain. I would dial back the gain like 20, 30%, because it sounds like you're doubling up the guitars left and right. And if you do that, you don't need as much gain on the left and right channels. Together, they're going to sound like they have enough gain. But if you're using a high gain setting and then you're doubling it up, it's just going to make that sound like it's even more gain, and it just starts to sound like fuzz and noise to me. I want to hear some of the at least for this style, I want to hear a little more definition in the guitar. So same thing, more body, dial back the gain in those electric guitar parts. Yeah, and here I said add a ripping solo instead of the repeated riff. Like, I think it's okay for a little bit, but you got to have some sort of a lead in here. But again, it doesn't need to be like super high gain. Again, dial back the gain a little bit. Yeah, I think this section gets a little repetitive without like a solo in here. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a really good song in here. I can tell everything's like all real instruments. It's just the mix for me, man. It's just the less reverb in the vocal, um, more mid-range and bass throughout. It sounds like the whole mix has like a high pass on it. So, yeah, just needs some work with the mix. Okay, so that wrapped up the songs I missed from last week. Let's see, just to double check here. Soho, yeah, that was 7 days. Yeah, that was 7 days ago. Okay, so let's jump to the new stuff. And once I go through all of these, then I'll go back to some of the other folders and see if there's anyone else I missed. I am going to take a quick coffee break and refill my coffee, and then I'll be right back. All right, we are back at it. Let's start right at the top here with Ecstasy from Tashad Noor. I think we listened to one of your tunes in another stream. But yeah, let's check this one out.
I'm loving you, baby. I'm loving you, baby. Baby, I love what you do, girl. I love what you do, girl. I'm loving. Ooh, I'm loving. I'm so in love with you. I don't sometimes know what to do. So in love with you. In love with you, baby. Ooh. In love with you, baby. Baby.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can't dance to save my life, but this song makes me want to dance. Like, this is great. Really awesome beat, really great, different sections. Every section is a little different. Your vocal is really, really good. I can tell you're a really great singer. I do think the vocals need some more production done. They're maybe a little too forward, and I would even say a little under processed here. I would maybe, especially like in the choruses, pan those vocals out even more if they're not already panned out, like the backing vocals. Maybe filter some of the bottom end, maybe a little more compression just to kind of control the dynamic, and maybe even a little more top end, but then bring them all back in the mix with a little bit more of like an ensemble or chorus effect, and then maybe a little bit more reverb as well. But otherwise, like, you've got a great voice, and it just needs maybe just a few tweaks on the vocal. Also, in this little instrumental break, I think it's like a keyboard. I'm not really sure what that instrument is. It could be like a really heavily affected guitar. If it's not a guitar, man, you should think about putting a little guitar lick in there. Do 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 do. The exact same notes. Just have like someone come in with like a guitar with just a little bit of gain, like a little bit of crunch to it.
So in love, I'm so in love with you. I'm loving what you do to me, baby. what you do, girl. I love what you do, girl. I'm loving. I'm loving. In love with you, baby. In love with you, baby. Baby. Loving you, baby. Loving you, baby. Baby.
Yeah, fantastic work. That's a killer song. It just I love the little funky guitar parts. Yeah, again, my main criticism here is maybe the vocals need a touch more production, but otherwise it's a really great track. And it's a really well written. Transitions are great. Mix on the instrumental is really good. All right, up next is okay, so we've got Out of My Dreams and Out of instrumental. Let's do the one with vocals. So Out of My Dreams featuring Sarah Jelly by Music M4N.
As soon as I close my eyes, only thoughts of you and I. But at the first light I see your vision. I don't wanna leave. I don't need nothing else to sustain me. I don't need nowhere. I can breathe you in nightly. 'Cause in my dreams all day, I want you here for good. Do anything I could. Can you come here to me? Step right out of my dreams. I'd do anything I could. Can you come here to me? Step.
So the really great vocalist, I can tell she's a really good singer. I would consider maybe kind of like the last song. It's almost like the vocals need a little bit more work. They need a little bit more production, a little more compression. There's some spots where I can hear some mouth noises, all really minor things. But, overall, your instrumental mix sounds great. I would just maybe do a little more production work on the vocals. Here in this particular section, I'm going to wait to leave my comment on it. But in this particular section, I don't know, there's something about that beat that's off-putting to me. It's not that the beat is bad. It's almost like the way it's mixed is giving me too much mid-range information and not enough like bass, like the when the beat kicks in, I'm not really hearing the kick drum very well in the sub. I'm not really hearing it very well in the bass range. So maybe pull down the mid-range on that beat and then maybe bring up the bottom end a little bit.
Right out of my dreams. Oh, step right out of my dreams. Step right out of my dreams. As soon as I hit the bed, illusions of you again.
Yeah, you know what's off-putting about the beat there? It's the kick, I think. The kick is like really like this smashed like deep house type of kick. It's got a lot of like mid-range information. I almost would prefer to hear like a tighter, shorter kick there with a little more like sub information and less of the mid information there.
Step back out of my dreams. Step back out of my dreams. Can you feel me on your body right here? You're nothing less than perfect. Think that I may have dreamed you real. If I tried, I never could again. You make me scream. Eyes of blue and green. Now that you're here with me, all I have to do is dream. Step right out of my dreams. You here for good? Do anything I would. Step right out of my dreams. Step right out of my dreams. Step right out of my dreams.
Yeah, I love this little the little bridge there. Like overall, great writing. It's a great, really cool track. I love all the synthesizers. I love the beat. Just a few mix tweaks, fix up that kick in the chorus, and then maybe a little more production, maybe a little more reverb on the vocals. And yeah, I mean, you're almost there. You're almost, I would say you're almost done with the mixing phase here. All right, let's move on to Stupid Stuff. Stupid Stuff by Evans Melodies. My first song, looking forward to what I should improve. Awesome. Give it a listen.
Oh, the stupid stuff I do. Do. 18 years old, now I stand tall and proud in the clouds, dreaming like a man. Nothing's gonna stop me now until my name is known all around and to the ones above me now. Better get ready, 'cause I'm coming to town. You all tell me loud that I'm stupid with my head in the clouds. Oh, the stupid stuff I do. I wish I was more like you. Oh, the stupid stuff I do. I don't wanna leave my room. No longer all up in my head. Too busy making songs and working hard instead. Today I woke up feeling proud of this verse I wrote and the melodies I found. But when I lay down in bed, my past confronts me and wants me dead. Oh, the stupid stuff I do. I wish I was more like you. Oh, the stupid stuff I do. I don't wanna leave my room. It's time to leave old me behind.
Okay, that guitar is like way out of tune. Let me just make a note on that. Yeah, that guitar is way out of tune. That needs to be tuned up.
It's time to leave old me behind. Burn 'em down, I'm a man tonight. If I hadn't been stupid, I wouldn't be smart. Oh, the stupid stuff I do. I'm glad I am not like you. Oh, the stupid stuff I do. I just wanna leave my room. Oh, the cool stuff I do. I'm glad I can say that too.
Okay, I'm gonna go easy on you since it's your first song. But I think the main issues here, the vocal is way out of tune in several spots, but I think you have like a pretty good melody here. Like it's a good framework for a melody. Like this is a good like starter demo. Like this is step one. Now step two is to re-record the whole thing and clean up the instrumentation, clean up the edits, practice your vocal takes. Practice singing the song multiple times and make sure you're hitting all of those notes, because you've got some like really like interesting melodic ideas that can work. But the vocal just needs to be refined and practiced. My main issue, the biggest issue, is there's a bunch of stuff that's just out of time. And so you either need to go back and re-record those things or line them up or, just drag them on the timeline. It doesn't sound like you're recording with a metronome or a click track. So if you're not, I definitely would record to a click. And, at least get the arrangement and the vocals kind of in the ballpark with each other. And then there's that guitar part there that's just way out of tune. It sounds like one of the strings is like off by like a quarter of a step. But yeah, I mean, I would consider this like a good starter demo. This is like a starting point to lay out the framework of your song, keep refining it. And, if you keep improving it, resubmit a version 2 if you like. Okay, cool. Let's move on to The Getaway by Tempotronics. Love all the keyboard parts and everything. There's some nice guitar riffs and things in there. I would maybe dial back the gain a little bit on your amp or your amp sim, because kind of like I said before, when you double up left and right guitars, like when you're sitting there just writing your song, and I'm a guitar player, so I do the same thing. I sit there and improv on guitar until I come up with some good riffs, and that becomes like the starter of a song. What I typically end up doing is I end up using like a really high gain setting when I'm playing by myself. But then when I double track, I end up pulling the gain down by like 2 notches, because it starts to turn into that like shreddy, fuzzy, like solid state amp type sound. You know what I mean? Like you took an old cheap crate amp, and crank the gain to 10 on it. So I would definitely dial back the gain on the guitar parts a little bit. and try to find a little more warmer tone because it's very high frequency and not a lot of mid frequency body and warmth to it. I just want a little more warmth in the guitars. Yeah, I mean, like, great playing, cool arrangement. Obviously, I think it needs some vocals, but, it sounds like an instrumental for now. The main thing, like, the mono compatibility is okay. It's not, like, horrible, but it's not, like, great either. But, like, I'm still hearing the guitars and stuff in mono. What I would really try to focus on is getting your bass, mids, and treble to, come through better at lower volumes, like, the balance between these. Oops. Um, because at low volumes, it's like all high and not a lot of mid-range, like high mids and highs, not a whole lot of mid-range warmth, and the bass is like non-existent. Then when I crank the volume, the bass is fine, still needs some more mid-range warmth, but then the top end is just like really, really, crispy. So, I would maybe consider mixing at a lower volume. That might be the culprit here. I'm also using Aventone CLA 10s, which are some of the most mid-rangey forward speakers, and I mix on these on purpose because if I can make something sound good and warm on these, it means it's going to translate well over to other speakers. So I would say like maybe tame down the mid highs and highs a bit, or bring up the mid-range warmth and some more of the sub to kind of bring, some balance back to the mix. Because what I'm kind of hearing is high frequency, mid lows, then lows. Whereas I want to see it more like almost like a pink noise arc. So just think about that. I mean, other than that, arrangement's cool. Parts are the parts are cool. Obviously needs a vocal, but yeah, good work. Just needs a few tone tweaks to my ear. And I think I got a typo here. Let's edit this. Yeah, to come through better, not comet through better. Cool stuff. Let's move on to Spiral Way by Philip Reeves Music. It's only 1 minute and 50 seconds long, so I'm assuming this is maybe a work in progress, but let's give it a listen. Okay, let's go back just to that very first note. You can hear the fade. What I would do is I would just play that initial, and almost sounds like a fade on the beginning of it. I would just play that chord and let it sustain into the next chord and then fade it to kind of dovetail those two sections, because you can kind of hear that first chord dip down and fade, and then you hear the next chord come in. Yeah, it's a good start. Obviously, maybe you need a vocal on here at some point, but I'll just wait till you finish the arrangement. Overall, I would just say that the drum and bass sounds are a little thin to my ear. Like you've got this nice present, like top end and top, mid high range, but then the bass and it's kind of like a similar thing to what the last song had. It's like there's not enough fundamental bass and sub to really have a solid foundation for all of those other saturated parts to be on top of. I really like the little middle section breakdown here. But yeah, just a little too much mid-range saturation, and you may not even need to pull down that mid-range saturation. Just bring up the bass and the low mids a little bit to compensate for that. But yeah, it sounds like a good start. All of that plus the fade edit in the beginning is a little obvious. Okay, let's move on to that was Spiral Way. So let's move on to Dance, Move, and Shake. Dance, Move, Shake by Flo Dave. Uh-oh, what happened there? Let's try that again. I think my internet just kind of crapped out on me there. So when we get here, we've got this build up and then we bring in the main beat there. Your bass line's just going boom, no, no, no. And I would add more sub to that and maybe even find a different bass that has a little more grit to it. I love the contrast of this section here, the little fluttery arpeggios, and there's some really cool like chord choices there. When you get to this section though, instead of just going boom, no, with long notes, maybe think like bum 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 bum. You know what I mean? Give it some rhythm, so that it steps the energy up, and we no longer feel like we're in the intro because I still feel like we're in the intro here with those long bass tones. Yeah, this is another perfect section where like a syncopated bass is going to sound so much better than those long basses, especially since you have all these other syncopated things going on here. That boom, 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 boom. You know, that's going to line up better with these other instruments that are in here rather than that long bass. I would only use the long bass in the intro in this first section here. Yeah, I would end it differently. I would completely change the ending, do something different. I would just take this whole little outro out and maybe make it an extension of the final chorus. Yeah, overall, I mean it's a good starter instrumental, I think. You know, I think it's a good start. I would take out the vocal samples here, the yeah, like those samples, just take them out. They don't fit at all in my opinion. The dance move shake parts are fine, but what I would do instead is write some lyrics for the song, find a vocalist to collab with, you know, have a vocal part recorded over this whole thing, and then you can have the vocalist who's on the track do the dance move shake part in those sections. Little more bass, like I said, little more like try a syncopated bass from like here onward. But otherwise, yeah, it's a good start. It's a cool track. All right, I'm going to take just a quick break and I will be right back. All right, I am back. Let's check out. So we got 3 of them here from Deutsche Fabrik. We've got Not Broken. Let's give that a listen. Okay, so before we get into the vocals, the bass sounds like it's up an octave from where it should be. I would drop the bass down an octave. So I'll say bass is too high. I would drop it down an octave, at least where the beat comes in. If you want to keep it high for the intro, that's totally fine. But then I would drop it down because it's barely moving my sub. And when I kick over to the sub, the bass is almost non-existent. It's like above the crossover in the sub. The whole mix, I mean, just right now sounds like it's in mono, which is, I mean, there's nothing wrong with mixing in mono if you prefer mixing in mono, but there's like no, I feel like I'm losing a dimension. You know what I mean? Like when we mix in stereo, we don't have height, right? That's the dimension we're missing, but we do have like breadth, which is like the distance from your perceived spot in the mix, things that are further away, closer to you based on how you filter them, EQ them, add reverb. And if you only have that one dimension, it makes your music one dimensional. Your second dimension is the width. And so I always like to have some stereo width. I'm a stickler for mono compatibility these days. But at the same time, I don't want everything to be mono, because when I switch over to mono, it just sounds the same. So it's very mono compatible, but I think at the same time, it has very little, if any, sort of stereo width to it.
Be lost inside my head. Be alone. What you said. Take me away from all your pain. Hate me. I won't go there again. Stand up and lie. Your way out, door is open. Just in no doubt. Oh, you not broken. You mean nothing to me now. There's no more I can allow. Breathe now. Now I'm all alone. Right here, I'm standing on my own. Stand up and lie. Your way out, door is open. Just in no doubt, I'll survive. I'm not broken. Stand up and lie. Your way out, door is open. Just in no doubt. Oh, you not broken.
So you hear those little arps there. It's like do 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 do. It just kind of cuts off, and it's like really dry. Add like a little delay to that, like a synced delay or a little reverb, just to create some tails on it, so it doesn't just cut off and then skip a note and then jump in back in again. I think the main problem here is everything's in mono. Everything seems like it's completely mono. It's almost like you hit the mono button and then bounced it. I don't know if that was intentional or not. Not only will the vocals sound better in stereo, because your effects will be in stereo, like modulation effects, chorus effects, reverb effects, delays. You want those things to be in stereo because they create sort of, I don't know what to call it, a haze of saturation and depth to your voice and to the instrumental arrangement. So I think that's the number one problem here, is it sounds like it's completely mono, which means that you're just leaving a whole dimension out of the mix that you could be playing with. It also sounds like the vocal was recorded, I may be wrong, but sounds like the vocals was recorded with a dynamic mic, which means that you will automatically need to put more work into the vocal production in post. I almost never use dynamic mics for vocals in the studio unless it's like really aggressive rock vocals, in which sometimes I'll use an SM7B. But other than that, I use condenser mics. I mean, even for YouTube videos and streaming, I like using condenser mics because you just get a better result. I would put in a little more work on the production in the vocals. Make sure that some of these elements are stereo. Make sure your reverbs are stereo, because that's going to create a whole different dimension that you're kind of missing here. You got a couple more. Let's go ahead and listen to these. We have time. So we've got Somebody Else's Problem, also by Deutsche Fabrik.
think I'll lose my mind, all slipping out of phase. It would save a lot of time every day, every way. All I need is you to see what it is you've done to me. So now you can be somebody else's problem. How do you want it to be? How don't you know it's true? If you can't see me, I can still see you. All I need is you to see what it is you do to me. I can't wait for you to be somebody else's problem. Somebody else's problem. Lying awake, thinking how to say, I'd rather be happy than right any day, anyway. All I need is you to see what it is you do to me. Can't wait for you to be somebody else's problem. All I need is you to see what it is you do to me. I can't wait for you to be somebody else's problem. Somebody else's problem. Somebody else's problem.
Yeah, I like this one more than the first one, but I think it has a lot of the same problems. It needs more fundamental bass. I would drop the bass down an octave in some parts. The mix is almost completely mono. Again, adding some more stereo elements will add a whole new dimension, not only to the musical arrangement, but also to your vocals. Same as before, vocal production seems pretty minimal. I would sculpt a more saturated vocal tone and a more present vocal tone, talking about a little bit of saturation, just to kind of bring out the natural character of the voice. The way I think about saturation is almost like film grain for like video production. You add film grain to things to bring out the details and bring out the character. Adding a little saturation also helps to bring out some of the details and the character to a certain point, because too much saturation can make the details go away, just like with too much film grain that can make everything look like noise. So I would say this song and the previous song too, your vocals need some layers, some doubles, some harmonies. It just sounds like a single vocal all the way straight through. And in your choruses, to sort of make them more distinct from the verses, I'd add some layers, pan them left and right, maybe do some harmonies up an octave in your falsetto range, maybe do some harmonies on a third or a sixth or whatever works. Yeah, I would definitely go that route. Let's check out your last one here too. We have Phoenix. I do like the sort of like electro, proto synthwave, early synth pop sound. So I don't have a problem with the genre or the composition of it really at all. I think most of my comments are really just on the mix and the lack of wit. like right there, like there's a new section and the bass still sounds like it's up in the mid range. It needs to be dropped down. I would even like that sort of like morphing bass sound that's in the intro. I would even switch maybe at that section to a completely different bass that's a little more syncopated. Just switch to like a boom, 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 you know, create some syncopated rhythm with it. But I just need more foundation in the bass. I feel like the bass is all mid-range and it's not really reinforcing, you know, the chord progression.
Your face in photographs. I remember how you used to laugh. Now your future seems to me nothing more than memory. Come to find me, I'll be waiting. Neon lights illuminating. Meet me where the stars align. I've been waiting for the sign. Extinguish all of the naked flames. Put away your childish games. Take controls for the heart of the sun. Follow me, there's work to be done.
Yeah, like the bass reinforcement here is fine in the kick. You know what I mean? It's just we need more in the fundamental bass. And a lot of the same things I said in the other two songs, add some more reverbs, delays, some other stereo elements to give the whole track an extra dimension, some more width. Also, those things sort of help to soften the like really harsh, dry synth sounds. And it creates like an atmosphere around them. And I'm not saying, you know, lay on a whole bunch of reverb, but maybe just a touch of reverb just to soften things up a bit.
Come to find me, I'll be waiting. Neon lights illuminating. Meet me where the stars align. I've been waiting for the sign. Like a phoenix, you must rise. Stretch up for the golden prize. Vaporize and fantasize. Mesmerize and hypnotize. Extinguish all.
Yeah, this whole section here, like the vocals are pretty nice. I would just they need more. They need some layers, double up some left and right layers just to make it, you know, sound more distinct from the rest of the song.
Of the naked flame.
Like if that's the main melody, the main motive of the song, I mean, we need left and right doubled layers. You need maybe like a left and right like falsettos up an octave, maybe a third or something, just something just to kind of. And I'm not saying you have to have group vocals, but you pull these things way back in the mix, so you're still hearing most of your lead vocal, but then you have all of these other like these things supporting you, and it gives you it defines that section distinctly from the other sections of the song.
Away your childish games. Take controls for the heart of the sun. Follow me, there's work to be done. Like a phoenix, you must rise. Stretch up for the golden prize. Vaporize and fantasize. Mesmerize and hypnotize.
Yeah, I think you've got a good start here. You have a very distinct style. I would just again play with some stereo elements. You're missing out on a whole dimension of mixing there. All right, so here's the last one of the new tracks. This is Angelina, and this is Project Week 1.3. Okay. That fade right there. I mean, I kind of like the lo-fi vibes going on so far, but that little fade there, try to extend the first sound, the piano out a little more, and then make the kind of like I said in one of the other tracks, make the two ideas dovetail into each other. It sounds like they're like a straight crossfade between the two ideas. I would maybe try to extend that piano out a little bit further into the next instrument, then fade it down. It sounds like you have a solid it sounds like you've composed the harmony and the chords and the sort of skeleton for your song. But there's no beat yet. Maybe there will be a beat, maybe it's a work in progress. There's one little weird chord there. I don't know if it was intended to be a diminished chord, but it sounds like one of the notes is wrong in one of the instruments. So double check that. If it's meant to be a diminished triad, that's totally fine, but everything else needs to fit that harmony there. Yeah, it sounds like you've got a good start here. Like you've got a good like harmonic framework to start with. I don't know if you plan on adding drums and bass to this. I would definitely add vocals to it. If it's like a song that doesn't have drums, that's totally fine. Not all songs have to have drums. Not all songs really have to have a bass line either, as we've talked about in previous streams. But I would try to find a way to add something else to this, especially like maybe a vocal part. A vocal melody would be great over this, and I would even extend it out a little bit further. It's only 2:23, so maybe create another section after this, like maybe one final chorus, and this can be like the final bridge leading up to that chorus. So sounds like a good start, good harmonic framework. Still a work in progress. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break here, and then what I'm going to do is jump into some of these old stream folders and catch up on anyone I might have missed. So I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back. Oh my goodness, folks. I can't catch a break, I swear. I went back and watched that whole thing. Or not the whole thing, but I watched a few parts of that recording. The gate is like too strong, and I don't understand why, because it's the exact same setup I had before, and it was perfect. So I just removed the gate for now. Apologies if a few F's and S's got cut out there, but I think you can still understand everything I'm saying. So let's check out some of these ones that I missed from the 8th and 15th and 22nd. I think I got most of them, but there were a few where people like put in multiple songs. Yeah. Okay. So this is My Bag from 1950. Yeah, we listened to one of your tunes on the 8th, but we only listened to the first one. So this is the second one. So My Bag.
Got me in my bag, big money rolling, fresh cut my wrist, so the timepiece keep showing. Cross legs my sneakers, and my size name brand new on my soles, cause I'm sticking to the game plan. And you know you gotta taste it, baby. Life's a burden, now they freezing, now they fading out. Stay within it, gotta fight it like a final bout. I'm just getting paid, I do this every day. Life's a burden, now they freezing, now they fading out. Stay within it, gotta fight it like a final bout. I'm just getting paid, I do this every day. What you running from? Oh, you know you got Jason. Haven't learned from anyone. Life's a burden, now they filter, now they fading out. Stay within it, gotta fight it like a final bout. Check out my flesh, check out my chest. Big down is bouncing, ooh, I hurt my neck. I'm addicted to getting and spending this cash. Haven't learned from anyone. Haven't learned from anyone. What you running from? Oh, you know you got Jason. Living to the cash, yeah. All about the bag, yeah. Big straight fat, yeah.
I think your biggest problem is you've got too much going on here, and there's like some loops I can obviously pick out from Logic's loop library. The I'd take those out. They don't need to be there. And I think there's some other elements in there. Either pull them back in the mix or just pare down the arrangement a little bit, and let your voice kind of come through a little bit better. The intro, I think, is a little long. Unless you have like a vocal part or something that can go over that, I would shorten it. So, but yeah, it's work in progress from the author. So totally get it. But yeah, maybe pare back the arrangement here and then just flesh out the song, cut the intro maybe in half, or add like a vocal part or something for the intro. Cool. Let's keep going down here. And then we have, okay, so we had a few of them here from Cliff D Notes. Cliff, I don't know that I'm going to be able to listen to all of yours. I'll try to listen to these two. But you had another one down here too, and another one here. So if you've got like 5 or 6, just try to resubmit them in the future, but try to just do like one song per stream. All right, here, or maybe 1 or 2 songs per stream. Heart of Gold by Cliff D Notes. Let's give it a listen.
que gata bueno, ay, ma. Otire que no que gata bueno, ay, ma. Otire que no que gata bueno, ay, ma. Otire que no que gata bueno, ay, ma.
Yeah, the main thing I would do here is I would take out that vocal loop or sample because it doesn't quite fit the key of your track. It does at some points and then it doesn't at other points. I would just take that out completely and insert your own vocal, like or collab with someone. Write your own vocal part. Yeah, I mean, look, you have a good musical arrangement. I would say minus those vocal samples. You've got a good musical arrangement. It's almost 8 minutes long. You know, if you're going to do like an extended version, you know, for live performance or for, you know, playing it at a club, that's totally fine. That's totally normal with this type of music. I would also do a radio edit of it that's like 4 or 5 minutes tops. I would say maybe 4 minutes tops. So you're going to have to cut half of this in some way. And again, create your own vocal melody and lyrics here. I think it'll really help. Yeah, I would in this little area right here, this transition, it seems a little empty. I would add something else to sort of push things into that next section. Love the kind of fluttery synths in here as well. But like I said, good starting point. Take out that vocal sample and put in your own vocal, and I think you'll have a much better song. Let's try "Love Like Lightning" by Cliff D Notes. Already listened to this one? I think we listened to this one on the 15th, didn't we? Cliff, I swore we listened to this one already. No, okay. All right, maybe I'm just going crazy. Let's give it a listen. It was "Love Like Lightning." You know what? We did listen to this one. We listened to this one in one of the streams. I would, and I think that, I think my comments will be the same. I think you need to get to the point quicker. Like a solid beat needs to come in somewhere. Yeah, and it kind of does up here, and it sounds like a cool idea, but that intro bass effect, I would like only have that in the intro and then cut to something else. And then if you want to cut back to it at the end, I would. But yeah, we definitely listened to this one. I just can't remember which stream that was in. Let's try this one, Soul Master. Kind of like with the other song, like I can tell, like it's an effective use of layers and sort of building up to like the main beat. That initial idea that's in the intro, I would cut it at this point. Once that main beat kicks in, cut that part, and then, that's going to be your first chorus or whatever. It's not just about adding layers, it's also about removing layers and knowing when to effectively remove layers when it's too much, because sometimes less is more, and I'm guilty of this myself in my own arrangement, stacking up too many different layers, and then before I know it, like the mix just sounds a little cluttered. Yeah, I mean, you've got some really cool synth ideas, some really cool transitions and sound design ideas. I think there's just too many layers. I think there's too much going on all at once. And honestly, this whole section here where the beat kicks in, you've got those clap transitions. Like, honestly, all of this should have come in sooner. Like, if this is the final chorus, then like half of this should have come in up here somewhere. Everything sounds like an intro or a buildup. And I just want to get to the point a little bit sooner up here by maybe taking some of this information and pushing it forward, or creating another section, or maybe paring down some of these buildup sections. But, you know, it's good work. I mean, overall, I really like the sound design. I think there's just some layering issues I think you can improve on. So we listened to Tony Lee Glenn, Somewhere You'll Find Me, in a previous video, but let's check out this other one called Circles of Heartache. I love that.
I had a feeling you'd be back my way. You never were the kind to let things go. I knew in time that you'd regret the day that you told me no. And now you're saying that you love me so. You push my buttons like no one ever could. You say it's real this time, you won't go away. But I can tell that this cannot turn out good, 'cause I know your ways. It's hard to say it, but you just can't stay. You had a shot with me, but you shut me down. I gave you everything, and you led me around in circles of heartache and longing and pain. I just wish you'd leave and not come back again. It isn't easy to deny your charms. You really tip me with the games you play. But I remember how my empty arms felt the night you went away. It's really over, girl, there's nothing left to say. You had a shot with me, but you shot me down. I gave you everything.
You've got a really nice vocal hook there for the chorus. You've got a shot with me. I'd layer that up with some other vocals. I'd layer up some harmonies. You've got a shot with me. You know, like get some falsettos in there. It's just going to make that section more distinct from anyone else. But otherwise, you've got like a really great vocal hook there.
And you led me around in circles of heartache and longing and pain. I just wish you'd leave and not come back
I would make your the fade out more gradual. I would even you could even extend the length of the song by 8 more bars, just copy paste, and then do the fade there. With your vocal, you've got a very sort of mid-range forward, like kind of baritone, low tenor voice. Either tame down that range, or I would bring up the top end to bring out some of the more clarity, and then bring the entire vocal down a couple of dB. I think honestly that would help more to kind of just rebalance it a little bit and hear a little bit more clarity in the vocal. But otherwise, great work. The lead guitar tone, it's like a fuzz box type of sound, which is fine if that's what you're going for. I don't know, it's almost a little too fuzzy for my taste, but that's just me. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see who we missed here. This one, Catch This Groove, DJ Ale Rossi, Penthouse Edit by DJ Ale Rossi. Let's give it a shot.
A lonely night, it turns into a party, and so we dance. Music flows through our bodies, we're waking up, and now I hope we dance the night away. We're heart to heart, two lovers lost in rhythms, our souls apart, ascending into heaven, we're face to face, while rocket ships will take us into space. Catch this rhythm, make it move. Catch this rhythm, catch this beat tonight. Come and catch this groove.
I like the beat. The mix is really good. Vocalist seems good. I would maybe dial back the modulation effects on her voice a little bit. It's getting a little too chorusy. And then in this section where you've got these like overlapping parts, on the overlapping parts, the little short kind of like overdubs or over ad libs or whatever you want to call them, I would try a different EQ setting, like a filtered EQ setting, just so they don't sound exactly like the overlapping parts.
Above the clouds, we're sailing into stars. There's no stopping now. All the way up, and there is no coming down. And yes, I hope we dance the night away. Catch this rhythm, make it move. Catch this rhythm, catch this beat tonight. Come and catch this groove tonight. Catch this rhythm, make it move. Catch this rhythm, catch this beat tonight. Hey, catch this rhythm, make it move. Catch this rhythm, catch this beat tonight.
Yeah, I mean, a couple little just personal taste things. I don't know if I like the kick drum. I think the kick needs to come up, but when I hear the kick by itself, it's got kind of like the tone, like the transient of like a metronome click, like the stock metronome click in Logic. So it kind of sounds like there's a click going on the whole time. I would maybe swap out the kick for a different kick that's got a little more punch, that's a little tighter sounding, and have it a little louder in the mix, especially in like the choruses when you've got like the backing vocals. I'd pull them down just a little bit. And then I'd like to hear, like in this area, the shakers and the topper elements. I'd pull those down a couple dB and let the rest of the beat come through. But otherwise, good song, good singer, great work. Just need a few little tweaks to bring it up to speed. Next up, let's check out Bloom of the Yarrows, revised by Dakota St. Laurent. Yeah, cool. I mean, this I see in the genres here. It says stage and screen and soundtrack. So normally I'd say maybe add add like a middle section where you kind of don't necessarily change over to a minor key, but since this is in E major, maybe go to the relative minor for a little bit. So that would be C minor, right? No, C. What would that be? C sharp minor. You could go to like maybe transition to another section, kind of give it like more of like a minor feel, and then come back into that ending section. But if it's for film or if it's meant as a soundtrack track, then you have to, compose to the media. You have to compose to the film. So, but otherwise, great work. I mean, great harmonic and melodic writing. The only thing that always kind of sucks about orchestral work is that your initial demo is all with VSTIs, and sometimes the VSTs sound great, other times they don't. There's definitely some French horn in here that doesn't sound real to me. So I would say good composition. Maybe try to focus a little bit more on the sound design and experimenting with some some other instruments and really locking in the sound to make it sound as realistic as possible. It's very close, though, don't get me wrong. But yeah, it's obviously really hard to get an orchestra to record anything for you, unless you've got a budget behind it. But I'd love to hear what this sounds like with a real orchestra. I think it'd sound great. Good work. Let's go down to Not Just Silence by Massimo. Wow. I mean, that was fantastic. I mean, the mix is great. The playing is great. The balance and the EQing and everything is really, great for this style. I love the tone of the sax. I think it's a soprano sax. If that's a synthesizer and not a soprano sax, I will be shocked. I love the little echoey delays you have on the melody. I guess my only thing I would change about this really is the end right here. There's like one little noise in the bass I don't like, and there's a little bit of like buzz or hum or something at the ending here that just needs to be cleaned up. But otherwise, I mean, fantastic work. I mean, that's like that's really great sounding. The mix is like spot on. So good work. All right, let's keep going. We've got Forever in My Mind by Sal Caruso, Jaded Soul. So like in the intro, I like those guitar chords, but like once the beat kicks in, I want the guitar to have more body to it. It sounds like it's filtered, or it sounds like it's a little thin on purpose, and that fits. But once the rest of the beat kicks in, I want to hear some like, I want to hear like the guitar to have some like body to it.
Lovers do they nearly never say never, but like our daydreams vanish, life goes by. Then though you're gone, you're always in my mind. I still recall the time when you went gone. These were the hardest days, and you lingered on. In my broken heart, the weight was strong to heal the shadow.
Yeah, there was another one we listened to that kind of had a similar problem to this, where I feel like the whole mid-range is scooped and it just needs more mid-range warmth. And also, I'm not a big fan of the way the vocals are produced. I can tell it's a decent vocal, but it sounds like it's oversaturated. It sounds like there's too much presence in the like 1 to 5K range. It's like almost a little too harsh to listen to. But definitely need some more body and warmth in the mid-range, especially the guitars. I think if you just, right when that beat kicks in, if you change the EQ setting on the guitar, I think that'll be night and day.
Mess, I sang it in a song. I prayed those days wouldn't last forever. I almost gave, but I never did, never. And though the daydreams vanish, life goes on. I have those memories always in my mind.
Yeah, you get these big fat drums, and then your guitar sounds like it's been high passed at 100 hertz. Definitely need some more body in those guitar parts. The lead is fine. The lead sounds great. It's just the rhythm parts.
We wish those days would have lasted forever. Like lovers do, they nearly never say never. And like our daydreams vanish, life goes by. And though you're gone, you're always in my mind. Forever in my mind. No matter how hard I try, I'll never get you out. You're always in my soul. Forever in my mind. Forever in my mind. Forever in my mind. Forever in my mind.
Yeah, really just those two things. It sounds like you're a good singer. It sounds like you've got a good track here. It's just there's like a hole in the mix where the mid-range should be. That needs to be punched out. And by punched out, I mean brought out more, especially in the guitars. And with the vocal production, honestly, man, I would take every single plugin off of that vocal and start from scratch. It's not that the vocal performance is bad. It's not that the vocal recording is bad. I think it's a little too, I don't know. It kind of sounds like you chose one of the vocal presets from Logic's library or something. And I know there's a couple of them that are pretty horrendous sounding. Again, sounds like you got a good song. Sounds like you got a good performance. Sounds like you've got a good vocal. Just needs to be mixed differently. I think you had another one here. Yeah, here we go. Unquenchable. Yeah, what happened with this one that didn't happen with the other one? Like, I know the guitar's like more clean here, but it's got warmth to it. It's got body to it. So it sounds like your distorted tones, your high drive tones, are a little thin.
Out of the shadows comes your most dreaded fears. You look for a way out, but there is nothing there. Now you gotta face it, trying not to chase it. Gotta beat it down, that's where I come from. I'm quite sure. Desire. Slain by the arrow of flesh and aloe haze, cut to the marrow. Sweet kiss, the price was paid. Why'd you have to lace it? Now I'm gonna taste it. I try to spit it out, that's where I'm coming from. You're so unquenchable. Get out of my mind. So unstoppable. I'm trapped in time. Black is tomorrow, torn hearts and silent tears. Rings became hollow. We reap the whirlwind's rage. First we're gonna break it, then we're gonna make it. Can't turn back the clock to where I came from. You're so unquenchable. Get out of my mind. So unstoppable. I'm trapped in time. You're so unquenchable. Still irresistible. This time's unstoppable. It's inexorable.
Yeah, like with the last one, I would start from scratch on the vocals, at least with the production. I like the little added harmonics in here. That's really effective. The guitar sounds way better in this one than the last one, but I can tell it's like a completely different, setting. It's like, more of a clean crunch setting. Less reverb on the vocals too. When you go back and you reproduce those vocals, I would tame back the reverb a little bit. But yeah, I mean, look, you've got some good songs here. I think you need to go back to square one on the vocals in terms of the mixing and production. It's not that the recording is bad or the performance is bad. It's just that the mix on it I'm not liking too much. Roland W. This is called 2024-05-25 Chill Out. No title yet, but let's give it a shot. I'm not sure if these little group vocal parts are a sample or if there's something you recorded, but there's one of them right up in this area. I know it says it's over here, but it's over here, where it sounds like it's in a different key. Though the group vocals here sound fine, but if I were you, if you were going to track vocals on this or bring in a collaborator on vocals, I would have them sort of add their own layers to the vocal parts that are going on here. Yeah, I'd say it's a good start. Definitely need a lead vocal throughout. You know, all of those little vocal samples just sound like background ideas. And they could be there to, you know, support a lead vocal, and that would be fine. And I would also take out a little bit of the top end in the bass. It sounds a little too, almost like a setting you'd use for slap bass, but there's no slap bass. So yeah, good start. You know, it's a good start. Get a vocal on it for sure. Fragile Woman, Fei Wong, but bachata version by Hong Star. Okay, let's give it a listen. Isn't Fei Wong like a really famous Asian singer? Like, wasn't she on like one of the Final Fantasy soundtracks? I can't remember. So one of the things I would do is I would, like, the guitar parts are really cool. Like, the production, the mix is really good. The guitar, I would add a little bit more of like a short reverb, just to give it some more depth and breadth, you know? And then on the vocal, I would pull back the reverb a little bit because it sounds like, I'm not saying you can't use two different reverbs or even two different reverb sizes, but what I like to do is I like to kind of match these things, especially a song like this that's very exposed. There's just there's not a big drum kit or anything in the background. It's all percussion. What I would do is I would maybe make the reverb of the vocal and the guitar match a little bit, because it sounds like she's singing on a big stage in a big hall, but you're in a studio that's bone dry with the guitar. So I would try to match those reverbs a little bit and sort of meet in the middle somewhere, pull back the reverb a little bit, maybe make the reverb a little shorter on the vocal, and then add a little bit of reverb to the guitar.
我信心曾被破碎過的心，讓你今天輕輕貼近，多少安慰及疑問，偷偷的在心。情難自禁，我卻其實屬於極度容易受傷的女人。不要找來找去，請珍惜我的心。如明白我繼續情願熱戀這個容易受傷的女人，願此一生有我的熱鬧。長夜有你最也真，讓我終於找到信任。不管一切是疑問，快樂是情人。情難自禁，我卻其實屬於極度容易受傷的女人。不要找來找去，請珍惜我的心。如明白我繼續情願熱戀這個容易受傷的女人，不要等這一刻請問。
I would even say, like, on some of those leads, like, you could even add like a little drive to it. Not like a crunch, but like just a little touch of drive. It sounds almost too clean. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, good work. It sounds great. I would just change up the production a little bit on her voice. She's already a really good singer, so I don't think we really need to overdo it with her voice. And we will listen to 1985 by Ubizian or Obizin. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. 1985. It was a good year. It was the year I was born. Those like really breathy, airy synth sounds up there, they're completely getting lost in mono. So I would rethink those. And then I wouldn't have them throughout this whole section. I would kind of like fade them down because they do kind of get a little irritating to hear. But otherwise, like some really cool sound design. I love all the little stutter effects. You definitely need a vocal or a melody of some kind, either an instrumental melody or a vocal on this, though. I really like that beat. I just want to hear more bass. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. I want to hear more of that. Yeah, great work. I love how the arrangement just kind of dovetails and fades back into that ambient stuff from the beginning. I love that little that little Mayredo motive up there. I think we listened to this one. Maybe we listened to a different version of it because I specifically remember that little little motive in there. Let's check out Heavens Above by the Daylight Savings and Loan.
I saw it in a film, so they make contact. The ones over the hill, well, it's hard to get.
I'd pull the guitars down a little bit. I like that twangy tone, though. I really do. Maybe just dial down the top end a touch, but the guitars are just like burying the rest of the arrangement. So I'd pull them down 2 or 3 dB.
Back. Now I'm leaving Reese's Pieces up and down my serpentine suburban driveway. Just in case. Maybe we've been missing transmissions from the heavens above. Maybe we've been missing transmissions from the heavens above.
Yeah, like here, like you're losing your entire chorus is ruined because the guitars are so loud that you can't understand what the singer is saying. So I'd really pull back those guitars.
Maybe we've been missing transmissions from the heavens above. Maybe we've been missing transmissions from the heavens above. I stumbled on a cliff of some cool blue tile, but then you let it slip. Your Xenu's disciple. Now I'm watching you glue little tiny pieces of ceramics to apply.
Like here, it's not so bad, but yeah, in the chorus, like they're so loud they bury the vocals. And I would also add a little more top end to your lead vocal to just bring out the clarity and diction in your voice.
I would. I'd buy. Maybe we've been missing transmissions from the heavens above. Maybe we've been missing transmissions from the heavens above. Maybe we've been missing transmissions from the heavens above.
Yeah, same thing. I mean, really, like it's a good song, good playing, good arrangement. I like the guitar tone. I like the twangy guitar parts. But I guarantee a guitar player mixed this because the guitars are just way, way out there. I would pull those way back. I'm not saying that the guitar has to be like a secondary instrument, but really the guitar should be secondary only to the vocals. But the guitar just is drowning out everything else. Let's check out First Project Work in Progress by Elizabeth Phoenix. God, if Phoenix is your real last name, I mean, that's like a great stage name. Liz Phoenix. Yeah, the main thing I'm hearing here is there's that little kick in the background, and every time you play a chord, it's like behind. You know what I mean? So you got to make sure you're lining these things up right. I can hear what you're trying to do, but it just sounds like the piano part is like way out of time with the drums. Like they're in two different tempos. If you haven't seen it, I have a few different videos on editing to the grid, and I think if you study those videos and you learn what all the grid divisions mean, I think you'll have a much better time because all of these elements need to line up and they're not lining up at all. Like you've got a good like little piano part that's like a good starting point, but none of the drums are matching up with what the piano is doing. Yeah, again, I mean, my really like, and again, I realize this is a first project and this is a work in progress, so I'm not going to grill you too hard. But the piano arrangements and the drums need to line up; they have to, otherwise, it's just sounds like two random things playing at the same time. Your beat should be like boom dum ka dum boom dum ka dum boom dum ka dum boom dum. You know what I mean? Each of those chords should lock in with the beat. You know what I mean? Even with the little ghost notes. All those things need to line up, and they're not. So I don't know how you recorded the piano. I don't know if it's MIDI or if it's like a real recording. If it's a real recording, you're gonna have a little tougher time because you're gonna have to do like some time alignment stuff. But if it's MIDI, then it should be easy. This should be easy to fix. Just make sure your piano chords are lining up on the grid lines. And it doesn't necessarily mean that everything needs to be perfectly quantized to the grid. It just means that things need to be roughly in the right location so that your downbeats match up. So. Yeah, it sounds like you have like a skeleton of a song here. You've got like a rough harmonic sketch of a song, but you need to add some more elements to it and make sure things are locking in with the piano. Let's keep going. Let's see, Life 9, Eternal Recurrence of the Same, Marzio. So here's a little trick at like a little gap like this. What you do is you cut out one guitar out of the right channel and only play the guitar in the left channel in the transition. And then once the beat comes back in, you bring in both guitars. Yeah, cool, man. I mean, that's a killer track. The guitars are freaking huge sounding. Yeah, what I would do in this section especially, I would do a little less with the drums. Just maybe do something a little simpler with the drums. Let the guitars sort of shine in that section. Pull up the leads there. Definitely a great arrangement. Some really heavy riffs. Some nice sounding guitar tones. Just needs a vocal. Needs a vocal melody. So other than that, great work. All right, let's move on to this one. Let's go to Karain Village by Maya B. Yeah, so I'm assuming this is a work in progress. I really like the world instruments in here. I really like all those textures. Is that like a Kodo? Is that what that is? And then the only thing like is that little high frequency synth sound that's coming in and coming out. It's a little harsh to my ear. I mean, maybe drop it down an octave or maybe take out some of the top end just so it's not so harsh. But, you know, I'm not really sure where this is going or if this is sort of like a soundtrack piece. But yeah, I mean, keep developing it. If it is going to be like a song with like a beat and everything, you know, I would bring the beat in sooner. But if it's sort of like a world music, orchestral, you know, cinematic thing, then yeah, keep building it out. I'd love to hear some strings on it, you know, some bowed strings on it as well. Let's go to Paradise from Deleted User. Oh man, come on. Yeah, I'm not going to bother even leaving any comments since the user deleted their account. But what I will say is that the arrangement's good. I like all the instrumentation. The mix is good. It sounds like a good start to a track. The only thing that's a little off-putting to me are the guitar parts and the acoustic guitar here in the intro. I don't think those are a real audio recording. Those sound like some sort of like programmed instrument. And as a guitar player, and I think other guitar players will probably agree with me, anytime I hear MIDI guitar, it just never sounds real. So if you can, I would try to maybe find a guitar player to play those parts on the final track. But so far, this is a good start, and obviously it's a work in progress, but good work so far. Okay, let's keep going. We are not going to stop. Joker song. Let's give it a shot.
Igram jako kao Joker, all in faca poker, ekipa Somborska brigada, branim boje svoga grada, igram jako kao Joker, all in faca poker, ekipa Somborska brigada, branim boje svoga grada.
Zagrevanje kreće, lupa mi čuka, sve postaje glasno, u glavi je buka. Protivnik spreman u sastavu punom, odavde će izaći samo u crnom. Domaći teren, šampionska klasa, igrači su spremni, nema vam spasa. Srce na teren i pamet u glavu, hoćemo pobedu, titulu, slavu. Pokažite skill, pokažite klasu, kucaju kontri, izloži tu masu. Kuci u reketu, ne da prođe, hoće dva bacanja, samo nek dođe. Presimpa zona, samo ih prži, stisnim tu odbranu, hajde izdrži. Od Trnja do Zvezda, nebeska ulica, Sombor na tronu, počinje ludnica. Šutam koji oka, trojka iz bloka, Somborska petica, jako ga roka. Rešetam po svima, obruč se klima, fintiram centar, čak 3 put se prima. Napad je dobar, al odbrana jača, polako ka tituli, Joker korača. Palite baklje i gasite svetlo, jer cele sezone je radila metal.
Igram jako kao Joker, all in faca poker, ekipa Somborska brigada, branim boje svoga grada, igram jako kao Joker, all in faca poker, ekipa Somborska brigada, branim boje svoga grada.
Giving you energy, giving you power, you gotta believe, have the desire, lacing them up, staying them ready, I'm not holding back, keep keeping it steady, 100%, give all I got. I'm the professional, you're just a bot. Killer mentality, mamba all day. Rest in peace, scope, they gotta pay. Now who's gonna say, hey, you're losing by 30, no way. Let the enemy pray, cause we're gonna win anyway. Giving you L's like it's a joke. The Jokic bros want all of the smoke. Love to all the people from So. Take it away, my Serbian bro. Košarkaška legenda, somborska priča. Domaći teren, iskusni čiča. Baca u nesvijest, igra se dodaje. Strpati 20, fazone ti prodaje. Ne zna da trči, ne može da skoči. NBA MVP svima na oči. I nije vam jasno šta se sad dešava. Nikola Jokić lagano vas rešava.
Igram jako kao Joker. All in, faca poker. Ekipa Somborska brigada. Branim boj svoga grada. Igram jako kao Joker. All in, faca poker. Ekipa Somborska brigada. Branim boj svoga grada.
Yeah, that was really cool. I have no clue what you're saying except for the English rap, but it sounds really good. The vocal production is done really well. And this, this is what I've been talking about before. Like, you want your vocal sections to have a distinct sound to them. You know what I mean? The big group vocals, lots of reverb, multiple layers, and then you cut to the rap vocal and it's like bone dry, but it pops out. It's been EQ'd and compressed in a way so you can really, clearly hear every word he's saying, even if it's in a different language than what I can speak most of the time. So vocal production is really great. One thing I would do, just a minor thing, is pull the kick up a little bit more just to make that beat hit a little bit harder. I feel like I'm hearing more of the 808 and less of like a real kick. And if there isn't an 808, like usually what I do if I have an 808, I have a kick layered with it. Just to give it that front end transient. But otherwise, yeah, great work. Really good vocal production work on that. All right, let's move down. So Freedom, we already listened to that one in another stream. Rahat by Maisha Patodia. Rahat, if I'm saying that correctly. Yeah, I mean that's really cool. It's really dreamy. I love like the sound design. I would at some point, maybe starting here, I'd add like a solid bass like line, even if it's a simple bass line. It sounds like over here you had one, but just something to reinforce the harmony. You know, something to reinforce the foundation of the track. I have no instrument, or I know instrument. I have no idea what that violin, you know, glissando-y violin type instrument was, but it sounds really cool. Maybe trying adding a slight delay to it, like a filtered delay, just to give it a little more ambience and have it fill a little bit more space. And I feel like the track just overall needs another section. Like you need another section that pivots down to another harmony, you know, because you're kind of just riding on the tonic the entire time. So just some things to think about, but very cool, very dreamy, you know, definitely like sort of transports me to a different place. And then we have Mitsa Groovy by Demitsa, Tech House Remix. How can you give me some advice on how to make it more juicy? Okay, let's give it a listen. Whatever that thing you've got on the downbeat is, whatever percussion instrument that is, it sounds a little too much like a click to me. I would maybe swap it out or EQ it a little differently just so it doesn't sound like someone's just, you know, keeping tempo. Yeah, if you want the track to be a little more juicy, that boom, ba-doodle-lum, boom, ba-doodle-lum, boom, because it sounds like there's already a sub bass, and then that's like a mid-range synth. That I'd add some more saturation to. It sounds like it's got the top end filtered out of it. That's going to give it a little more of a bitey feel. The drop here is great. I would go with the harder kick drum. Maybe, you know, introduce it here, you know, where that first little drop is, just to kind of make the beat a little harder, you know. But otherwise, good work so far. Yeah, overall great work. You know, I know stylistically for this genre, it's like tech house. You're not generally going to have a bunch of vocal melodies or like even instrumental melodies on top of this. So I totally see, you know, where you're going with this. I really like that build up. It's really interesting. I just think that these drops would be harder and juicier, as you're asking, if we just had a harder kick. You know what I mean? You have all this like build up, and I want that kick, the first one to hit, just boom, you know. So yeah, that's really my main thing. I would make those little mid-range synths a little grittier, and then go with a harder kick sound. Let's keep going. We are almost through here, I think. You Are the Love by Pancho GH.
When I think of you, you love me too. Just as ever as yesterday, yeah. It is, you never leave. It is, you're always here at my side for me. And I am for you. Oh, if I could ever live my life one more time, once again, yeah, I will go to wherever you are. Oh, and I will look for you, and I will find you. I will love you one more time as yesterday, yeah, yeah. You are the love I can't forget. No, I can't. You are the love that never leaves.
Yeah, I love the group backing vocals there. I just feel like the instrumental arrangement needs to come up and the vocals need to come down. Like the horns seem like so far in the background that I can barely hear them. So I would bring the horns up. I'd bring up a lot of the instrumental elements, or just bring the lead vocal down.
My side, you are the love of all or nothing, nothing. You only ask for what you give, yes you do. Oh, love is cold if you're not close to me, close to me. The love I can't forget. No, I can't. No, no, no. You are the love that never leaves my side, my side. You are the love of all or nothing. Ooh, you only ask for what you give. Yes, you do. Oh, love is cold if you're not close to me. 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 Close to me.
Yeah, I mean, nice work. It sounds like you've got a good recordings, a good performance, a good vocal melody. I would bring up the guitar solo. It really just sounds like there are mixed things that need to be done here. I'd bring up the solo. The group vocals were great. I'd bring the horns way up. I'd bring the vocals down a bit and then I'd bring your guitars and your other instrumental elements up a bit. And in the intro, there was something weird about the ride cymbal and I don't know if it was a hi-hat or a shaker or some other topper element in there, some more sort of percussion element in there. But they just seemed a little off to me. Just maybe bring those down. But otherwise, good work. Good work. All right. We're getting to the end here. Oh, my goodness. We still have all these left. Okay. This is Tight by Fry.
This reggae shit sounds dated, but back in the day, I bet they overplayed you.
The reggae shit sounds dated, but back in the day, I bet you overplayed you. This reggae shit sounds dated, but back in the day, I know that you overplayed you.
Reminiscing on that back in the day, just bumping records from the 90s back in 2018. All my dabs crumbled and looked like cocaine and need a torchlighter fueled by liquid propane. Fuck peace, I'm propane, obsessed yet lonely, and I don't wear a gimsuit, but I sport cocaine. Said it's simple, like la-di-da-di-da, till I saw the shoddy Insta where she
drop it like a dog.
Like, look, it's that fried kid, never had the light, man. Since my adolescence, I read from the book of rhyming. I'm still going. You can't stop me if I crawl. I wish I told you everything that's perfect. Your life's still flowing, and it sure as shit won't stop for y'all punk bitches trying to pick up someone's dollar at the mall. I'm still going through some shit that plagues my thoughts. It's kinda soothing when the time blurs and everything is numb.
Is it the pain or the drugs? I remember when we did those for fun.
This reggae shit sounds dated,
I don't think I'll ever fucking understand why. This reggae shit sounds dated, back in the day, I think I'm overplayed you.
this reggae shit sounds dated, but back in the day, I know that you overplayed you. This reggae shit sounds dated, but back in the day, I know that you overplayed you.
This reggae shit sounds dated, but back in the day, I think I'm overplayed you.
Yeah, I mean, I like the vibe of the track. Like, I like the bass and everything, and the beat. Some of these like stereo vocal effects, they're like getting a little off, and so therefore we're losing the clarity of the vocal. So I would maybe line those up a little bit better. All of the like formant shifts in the vocals, I'm not a big fan of that at all. I mean, I would rather just hear you the whole time. You know what I mean? I'd rather hear your natural voice, unless like here and there you just want a little spot where you're using like that formant effect. But yeah, I like the vibe of the instrumental for sure. I think it sounds good. All right, let's keep going. Shine a Little Light for Me by Teddy Lee.
Come on by later on when you got nothing to do. We can take a little stroll on the avenue. Watch the moon shadows under twinkling stars. Shuffle down a walk to the twilight melody. Can you feel the rhythm of the swaying breeze? Move a little closer so you're touching me. Moving back and forth so we can clearly see.
Yeah, I mean, a couple things I'm hearing up front. The guitar intro, I'd cut it in half. people are going to get bored and then they're going to stop listening. The mix sounds like way off. It sounds like really muffled, almost like there's a lot of the top end that's completely cut out. The vocals got kind of like a distorted character to it. Lots of like instruments that just don't seem right, like they're not lining up properly. So, you know, maybe look at some time alignment tutorials for flex time and work on just getting your main elements kind of the not even going into the vocal, just the instrumental, getting some of these things a little bit better lined up, because they don't sound, you know, like one of the earlier tracks, it sounds like they're all playing at different tempos. Like I can hear the melody and the rhythm of the voice that you're trying to do, but it's not aligning with the instrumental. Like right there, the guitar is like way off from the drums. The vocals way off from everything else. I'm not a fan of the vocal production. I think it sounds like really distorted and muffled. So I think you need to, you know, even before, and again, this is probably a work in progress, but I would focus before you even start thinking about effects and mixing. I would think about making sure that all of your musical elements line up properly, because there's a lot of things that are just not in sync. You know what I mean? Like the bar lines are kind of in sync, but then some of the rhythms within the bars are like way off. So yeah, I would say focus on that first, and then bring out the vocals, make them a little brighter. Without everything in alignment, it just sounds like 3 or 4 different instruments all playing at different tempos and not paying attention to each other. You know, like when the drummer speeds up or slows down, or the guitar player speeds up or slows down. I Wonder As I Wander by Pamela Rise. Yeah, you said this is your Christmas release and you're in the process of recording your vocals. So I'm assuming there's no vocals on this. It sounds very Christmassy. So you're in the right genre there. So I see what you're trying to do there, but that I don't think the timpani, I think that's a timpani. I don't think timpani is the right choice here. I think you might want to do something like a taiko drum or some sort of like auxiliary non-tuned drum. The problem with timpanis is they're tuned to specific pitches, unlike other drums. So I would maybe try to find some other sort of percussion instrument or drum there that is not a tuned drum. this is all really great, but that timpani to me it doesn't help it. I feel like that could just be, you know, some auxiliary percussion or something in there, like some bongos, congas, you know, something like that. Something that's not tuned. I don't know what that effect was. Whatever that is, I'd pull it way down. I'm not really sure what that was. I'd pull it like way, way down in the mix. Yeah, I mean, you've got a really cool arrangement here. It's a really great arrangement. I know you said you're going to track vocals on it, but I think the timpani's got to go. I think the timpani just needs to go completely. If you want to put in that same rhythm, the dung 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 dung, do it on like a conga or do it on some bongos. Don't do it on timpani because the timpani's going bum 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 bum, and as soon as you change the chord, now the timpani's not in the same key as the chords. So yeah, I think timpani's a bad choice for this, but otherwise it's a really nice arrangement. I just think that timpani needs to go. Okay, we are getting to the bottom of the list here. Quasar, level 9, final 3 from Will O. I love that, how freaking grimy that is. It reminds me of I've got this pedal I bought. It's called the Plasma pedal, and it's like $300, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do some grimy like guitar parts with it, and I never did. I think the pedal's been used once, but this sounds like exactly what you need for a track like this. I would lay off the modulation effects, especially in the leads. They sound a little too chorusy just for my taste. And then that main riff, I don't know if that's just bass or if that's guitar and bass. I would pull that down just a little bit. Yeah, if you pull that down, it'll let the drums come through a little bit better. I can really noticeably hear the panning chorus effect or whatever that is, and it's just a little too much for my taste. I would maybe pull that back like by 50%. Yeah, really cool track. Love the idea of it. Just a few mix changes that I would make. Let's check out Gray Revisited by Onto. the background guitar lead here, I'd maybe pull down the rhythm a little bit just to let that come out more. It starts off with this right, but it just stays like that for so long. I would maybe change up the kick pattern in here, just to kind of, I don't know, just to make the kick pattern a little different here, or change it up here. I don't know. I just want to hear like something different, you know.
This road, a sky of the light so gray, leading nowhere from nothing. No one has passed since that day. Rising by the ivory trees and waits for you to come by again. This time I will not let you go.
And the last rays of the setting sun painted your hair with its gold. I stood and watched you walk away. The time has stopped and the trees have died of waiting. No life has lived since that day.
Yeah, sick. I mean, I love the guitar tones. I love the vocal production throughout. The one thing I would say is here, the doubling or modulation effect seems like too much. Like it's a little too noticeable. Your guitars almost disappear in mono. So I would, again, the same trick I've been telling everyone with rhythm guitar is track another rhythm guitar straight up the center, put it super low in the mix so you almost don't even hear it. But as soon as you hit that mono button and those side guitars get collapsed into each other, that center guitar is going to pop out and give you a little more solid guitar in mono. But yeah, great work. Love the track. And then Leave Her Suffer. And honestly, I think we listened to this one already. Maybe. Let's see.
Such a villain of a person in every way, to blatantly lie to me on that day. Keeping such a secret is beyond the beyond. An old conscience piece of work, I should say. Pretending nothing wrong in a matter of fact. Evil in her words, such a bitterly act. Maybe this sort of person is simply not worth the light, not worth any effort for a fight. Leave her suffer. Leave her get her comeuppance. Leave her suffer. Leave her without doing a thing. Leave her suffer. Leave.
Yeah, I like all the acoustic arrangements and the acoustic production. I'd say maybe the top end of the acoustics is a little too bright for my taste. Again, especially on my Aventone CLA 10s, it's a little harsh. The vocal tone's also a little harsh just because it sounds like it's just a slight oversaturated. Not too much, just a little bit. And I'd definitely add like a de-esser on the vocal.
Leave her get her comeuppance. Leave her suffer. Leave her without doing a thing. Not worth any effort. Not worth any effort. Not worth any effort for a fight. Not worth any effort. Not worth any effort. Not worth any effort for a fight. Leave her suffer. Leave her get her comeuppance. Leave her suffer.
Yeah, one thing I would just say is maybe as a suggestion is, since there's no drums, have you thought about adding some sort of like auxiliary percussion or even like a shaker and a tambourine, just something to like kind of drive the rhythm forward, maybe starting about the halfway point somewhere. I don't know, just that's what I would do, just because there's no drums, and you don't have to have drums, but just some sort of, because none of the instruments are really driving the groove. You know what I mean? None of the instruments are like interlocking. They're interlocking, but they're the rhythm that they're creating combined together is not like a driving rhythm. And I know it's not a driving song, but I just feel like there needs to be something just to kind of keep the pace and keep the tempo.
Leave her get her comeuppance. Not worth any effort. Not worth any effort. Not worth any effort for a fight. Not worth any effort. Not worth any effort. Not worth any effort for a fight. Leave her suffer. Leave her get her comeuppance. Leave her.
Yeah, there's a few little spots like right there where like you can hear the guitar and bass come in just a split second apart from each other. They're meant to be on the same downbeat. And I totally get, like, you want a natural feel to this. And it does sound good. Like, I like that organic feel to it. But I just feel like some of the things just need to be lined up just a little bit. Like, if you're not going to add percussion to sort of keep the tempo, I would make sure that all of the elements are a little bit better lined up. Again, they don't need to be perfectly quantized to the grid, but maybe, and you don't even really need to mess with flex time or anything like that, but maybe just nudge some of the recordings around to get the downbeats a little better in time.
Not
cool stuff. And that brings us to the end, I believe. I think everything in here, everyone who submitted a track, I believe, has had their track listened to. I'm going to have to end it there regardless, but if you want to get in on this in the next stream, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep doing it this way. I'm going to do 3 live streams at 6 p.m. every Friday, and then the 4th week of each month I'll do a pre-recorded video like this where I can sort of play catch up on the tracks that I missed. What I'll say at this point is, because I've seen a lot of people have been uploading their, like, re-uploading tracks to the old folders, and while I did get to some of those, I didn't get to all of them. So if for some reason your track wasn't heard in this first month of doing streams, submit it for next week or the following week, and I'll get to it. So that pretty much wraps it up, guys. Thank you so much for being patient with me with these first few streams. You know, I'm just kind of still ironing out the details myself, and I think next month we're looking at 4 weeks of flawless streams with no audio issues, no issues with the stream dropping out, no issues with my gate cutting out a little too early. So again, I appreciate you guys being kind of patient with me in this first month of doing this. I plan on doing it for a while. So yeah, so that pretty much wraps it up. Thank you everyone for being so enthusiastic about this. I hope my critiques and feedback has helped. Just keep in mind that, you know, nothing I'm saying is a personal attack on anyone. It's not meant to belittle anyone. It's just, when I listen to your track, what would I do to it? Like, if I was your mixing engineer or your producer, what would I do to your track to improve it? And that's the only thing I'm trying to do here, is give you that information so you can go and make those changes on your own. If you like this video, if you like videos like this, if you like the channel, please like the video and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all my future videos. As always, thank you so much for the support, and thanks for watching.